bathhouses were really run down. They hadn't been occupied for the most part for about 20 years or longer. They had only a little bit of maintenance in order to keep them from completely falling apart. It had some vandalism to them. And these are very spectacular structures, very beautiful buildings. The goal of the stabilization project was to clean out all of the excess bathhouse equipment in a lot of these places. They all had water, hot water flowing through the basements, that sort of thing. So they needed to do a diversion for the hot water. Also fix any problems that this flowing hot water had caused in the structure. In one case, part of the building had settled into the ground, cracking the big portico practically off the front of the building. So my job was to see if there were archaeological resources in and around those structures that would be affected by the construction work that was taking place. And so I monitored all of the trenching that took place inside and outside the structures. And then with small crews, we would do test excavations in various places. And one of the things that I saw right off was that in some of these buildings, they'd actually used elements of older buildings as their foundations. So also on all the drawings, on some of the drawings of the bathhouses, there were extensive areas within the building that was marked unexcavated. Those two things suggested to me that there probably were other archaeological materials, archaeological resources inside the buildings or underneath them. When I did my first walkthrough on some of these buildings, I actually found a feature in the dirt in one of the places and artifacts scattered around dating to the 19th century inside the dirt fill associated with this feature. With that, we decided to do some testing. And we tested, this is the Lamar bathhouse. The Lamar had an older building underneath it which preceded it, called the Lamar, which was built in about 1880, and then it had another building before that, another bathhouse, and a hotel that may have been there. We found evidence underneath the concrete floor for both the hotel and the preceding bathhouse, and recovered thousands of historic artifacts from under there. A lot of it down in the water level and the hot water level below the floor. So that was an eye-opener for the park, which the park staff thought there was going to be nothing underneath those floors, that everything had been destroyed through construction, and we were able to show that that was not the case. Also, in one of the other buildings, the Ozark bathhouse, I believe, crawling around in one of the spaces, found the mosaic tile floor for the preceding Ozark bathhouse, which also dated to the 1880s. And then below that was evidence of a fire that had taken place back in the 1870s that had burned down the bathhouse and buildings before that, and large stone foundations for bathhouses and other structures that dated from the 1870s and earlier. So that was a pretty exciting project.